I hope you're locked in, because this is going to be diabolical. Elon Musk goes out against immigration, explains the Democrats' scam to steal votes. Also, Trump declares war on potentially Nigeria and potentially Sudan, who are out there where radical Islamists are massacring Christians, even though the media is saying nothing. Certain people are losing their mind. You get American political pundits praising Sharia law. You have Dearborn, Michigan importing terrorists. You have Zohran Mamdani. It turns out he was releasing campaigns in Arabic for the mayor role of New York City. We are on full-on invasion time, boys, and it's absolutely diabolical. You have to hear what's going on, because unfortunately the media is not covering it, and I wish it would. This is one of those things that the media would rather you not know about, which is why I am the media now. Subscribe, because we make fun of and if you don't want to get killed by radical Islam, you might be Islamophobic. So first, let's see what Elon Musk had to say on Joe Rogan's podcast. This went super viral over the last 2 days, and it's very relevant.
The reason you have the standoff is because if the hundreds of billions of dollars to create a financial incentive to have this giant magnet to attract illegals from every part of Earth to these states, if that is turned off.
Right, think about it. The Democrats really want to fund illegals, because if they fund illegals, then the illegals show up. And if the illegals show up, then they could outnumber the natives and win an election. It's a plan to steal democracy.
The illegals will leave.
Right, so they literally want the illegals to get the benefits. Otherwise, the illegals wouldn't show up. Why would the illegals come to America if America's not giving them free shit? Your free shit, mind you. You pay taxes, so it's your free shit that is going to them.
Because they're no longer being paid to come to the United States and stay here.
Wow.
And then they will lose.
It's so crazy. Because I've literally been saying this in videos for the last month or so. I'm really glad this is becoming a mainstream talking point.
A lot of voters. The Democratic Party will lose a lot of voters.
Awkward.
And they would have a very difficult job if this is kicked out of reintroducing it into a new bill.
Yes.
Especially once things start normalizing.
Yes. So, in a nutshell, the Democratic Party wants to destroy democracy.
Yes, sir.
By importing voters.
Facts.
And
it's that simple. It's that simple. You're not allowed to show your ID when you vote in America, in California, or in New York. These states give infinite free money to illegals. The illegals invade. And that's it. The end. That's the end. They're literally stealing democracy.
The Republican Party disagrees with that.
And the ruse is that if you don't accept what they're doing, then you're a threat to democracy.
That's it, baby.
Yes.
As they try to destroy democracy.
Correct.
Yes.
By importing voters.
Right.
That is
and
literally what they're doing.
People to only vote for them.
Yep, obviously.
Well,
obviously they're going to vote for them. You don't understand. The Democrat Party is the party of, we take the taxpayer money and give it to the illegals. So the illegals are obviously going to vote for the Democrats. No shit. Because they're the party of, we will give you free shit that was made by other people. So they are literally dangling your money in front of the eyes of other people, where they show up and steal your shit. And it's literally endorsed by the Democroids. And that's where we're at.
Whelming the system.
Yeah.
Yes. And by the way, it's a strategy that, if allowed to work, would work.
Of course.
And in fact, has worked. California is supermajority Democrat.
Yeah, how'd that happen?
Yeah. And there's so much gerrymandering that occurs. It's crazy.
So Elon essentially blew the gates wide open. So here you have Zohran Mamdani, who's running to become the mayor of New York City. He's a radical Islamist communist, and this dude straight up basically says, we are going to bring in as many illegal immigrants from my hometown as we can. All right, he wants to flood the streets with probably illegal immigrant Muslims. That he also says he will fight against ICE officers to prevent them from getting deported. If this isn't a very obvious way to steal democracy, I don't know what is. In fact, when they looked at the stats, it seems like from actual American-born New Yorkers, Zohran Mamdani would lose. He only gets about 30% of the vote from actual native-born New Yorkers. However, if you are including foreign-born New Yorkers and this is insane, if you're including foreign-born New Yorkers, he gets 70% of the vote. They're literally importing people that are going to vote for people that have policies where they import people. Do you understand what we are dealing with? Anyway, I would like to take this moment to bring your attention to the graph. Pay attention to the graph. Holy crap, a left-wing group in North Carolina has been exposed for offering to pay $100 per person to vote for Democrats. What? You are paying people to vote for a specific party? Whoa. How is this legal? How is this legal? They are literally about, we will throw money at you to vote for us. That is the plan, and that's how they're planning on stealing democracy. But now, we have to talk about a really tragic situation that's going on the other end of the world. All right, this is a Nigerian pastor speaking. This is incredibly important. Because there is currently a genocide going on in Nigeria, a genocide of Christians being done by radical Muslims, and Trump declared war, basically. So we're going to look at that. But first you have to see what's going on.
We are tired to be outside performing burial every day. And they expect us to silence. Now, it's an order. Nigerian government came out openly and denied there is no massacre, there is no genocide of Christians in Nigeria. And look at it today.
This is a mound of bodies. It's censored.
Is there any Muslim here? United Nations, I know you're watching it. American Senate, you are watching what I'm doing, I'm saying here. Special advisor to Trump. Now, please tell Trump to save our life in Nigeria. They are killing Christians in Nigeria. Massacre Christians. If they say they kill Muslims, Muslims are being killed. By who? By Muslims.
So this poor man is making this basically a plea to people to actually pay attention to what's going on. I can't even imagine what's going on over there. Especially like you look at the media, and the media is like yelling about Palestine. Over double the amount of Christians were killed in Nigeria over the amount of Palestinians killed in Gaza. Over double. Also, the Nigerian Christians didn't start a war. The Palestinians, realistically, however you want to calculate it, they did start a war. They started a war and they lost miserably. Here you just have a population of people being obliterated, and it's unbelievably horrible, and it's literally not even in the news. Anyway, in Sudan, Arab Islamist gangs are kidnapping and rounding up black Christian women and children for slavery. Over 3,000 have been killed in the last few days. Where's the UN? Where's the Palestinian protests? Where's Greta Thunberg, BLM, and the human rights activists? No one's even talking about this. Like this, I feel like I have to make these videos because realistically, no one is. No one's even like making believe this exists, which is horrifying. Now, for the record, this is Hamas turning water pipes into rockets. They yell about starvation, even though the UN admitted there was no starvation in Gaza, and that was literally just a giant hoax. But you'll have people talking about how 97% of Gaza's water is unfit for human consumption, and here you have them literally digging up pipes and turning them into rockets. These are the people that I'm supposed to feel sympathy for, like the Hamas people. Now, this is Hamas, a Hamas guy talking about how he doesn't care if he kills a nursery full of kids.
أندم على أي طفل إسرائيلي ولو كانت روضة أطفال. يعني يكفي إن أنا حكون شهيد وحأشفع ل70 من عائلتي. يعني أولادي معايا، زوجتي معايا، أبويا وأمي وأخواتي.
Right, so this dude wants to represent his whole family and kill a nursery full of Jewish kids. Now, these guys are the ones that are being protested for on the streets. All right, these guys. They're the ones that you have your college students, you have your, largely Muslims and leftists, interesting alliance, through the streets of England, the streets of Italy, the streets of Germany, the streets of America, chanting in the name of these guys. This is an actual death cult. And these guys got the world on their side. Not the hundreds of thousands of Christians massacred in Nigeria. These guys. The ones that are chanting and yelling about how they plan on massacring groups of children. In case you were curious, here it is, full Technicolor, courtesy of the U.S. military. You can't even blame this for being manipulated. Hamas operatives hijacking aid trucks. All right, there is nothing to even discuss. Hamas literally was stealing food from their own people. They were stealing the aid from their own people and starving their own people. And these are the guys that the world wants me to feel sympathy for. These are the guys that your average radical leftoid is screaming about. These are the guys that Greta Thunberg felt the need to travel to give them more food for them to steal from their people. Rubio even said, Hamas continues to deprive the people of Gaza of the humanitarian aid they desperately need. This theft undermines the international efforts in support of President Trump's 20-point plan and to deliver critical assistance to innocent civilians. Hamas is the impediment. They must lay down their arms and stop their looting of Gaza to have a brighter future. And realistically, this is absolutely diabolical. It's insane. So this is the shit that's going on in Gaza. All right, Hamas, terrorists, death cult, they started the war. They steal the food from their own people. They use their own pipes as rockets. They steal their own food to starve their own people. Giant propaganda machine, and quite frankly, it worked. It worked on the majority of the world. This mother and her children were hanged from a tree. These are a Christian family pleading with Islamists not to kill them in Sudan, where every single one of them was executed. And no one even feels the need to bring this up. Now, President Trump dropped an absolute diabolical tweet. If the Nigerian government continues to allow the killing of Christians, the USA will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria and may very well go into what that now disgraced country, guns a-blazing, to completely wipe out the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible atrocities. I am hereby instructing the Department of War to prepare for possible action. If we attack, it will be fast, vicious, and sweet, just like the terrorist thugs attack our cherished Christians. Warning, the Nigerian government better move fast. So first of all, I called this months ago. That's first. Second of all, everyone in America screaming America first, and therefore you're not allowed to ever engage with foreign policy, in my opinion, is stupid. In my opinion, it's lame, okay? In my opinion, every once in a while, you have to get involved with the outside world. I don't care if Trump also wants oil, that's irrelevant. You obliterate those motherfuckers because this is brutal. It's absolutely brutal. I support the fuck out of this personally, absolutely. Deus Vault, God wills it. Obliterate those motherfuckers. I support that 1000%. Pete Hegseth posts this on Twitter, gets 185,000 likes. The killing of innocent Christians in Nigeria and anywhere must end immediately. Based as hell, man. It really is. The Department of War is preparing for action. Either the Nigerian government protects Christians or we will kill the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible atrocities. Now, I don't want boots on the ground, but I do want drones in the air. That's what I'm saying, man. I'm a simple man. A very simple man. And I absolutely want to see this. I really do. I do. I want this death to stop, if at all possible. And if they're not willing to do it, I'm all for America assisting them in making the tactical decision to stop effing around, or the finding out stage will be absolutely deplorable. Now, if you look at most of the Muslim majority countries, they used to be Christian majority countries. Egypt, Jordan, Liberia, these were all Christian majority countries until something suspicious happened to the Christian population, which suspiciously went down, and now they're Muslim majority countries. In fact, the only country in the whole Middle East area, all right, the whole Middle East area that the Christian population increased over the last 50 years was Israel. It decreased in every other country. Every other one. This is the only one that it increased in. Only Israel, no other ones. Diabolical, man. It really is. And I feel like so many people are beefing about cringe shit that they're not willing to look at the reality here. Lebanon was majority Christian. Yeah, I know. And not anymore. So Nicki Minaj, the unexpected hero of this story. No one saw this coming. Reading this made me feel a deep sense of gratitude. We live in a country where we can freely worship God. No group should ever be persecuted for practicing their religion. We don't have to share the same beliefs in order for us to respect each other. Numerous countries all around the world are being affected by this horror. It's dangerous to pretend we don't notice. Thank you to the president and his team for taking this seriously. God bless every persecuted Christian. Let's remember to lift them up in prayer. This was the unexpected hero of the day, racking up 300,000 likes. 40 million views. She is getting mega backlash from her woke retard fans. Nicki Minaj comes out as a gigantic Trump glazer, changed everything. Now, obviously, she used to not talk about politics, whatever her politics absolutely were. That's not really relevant. But the Overton window, it's not shifted. It's destroyed. We are living in a new reality. A new woke has no influence. You calling people racist and fascist has no power. All right, this is good versus evil. That's what the board is really about right now. The ambassador, Mike Wall, says, at Nicki Minaj, what is this timeline? What is this timeline? Thank you for using your platform to speak out in defense of the Christians being persecuted in Nigeria. We cannot allow this to continue. Every brother and sister of Christ must band together and say enough. If you ever find yourself in New York, come to the U.S. Embassy of the United Nations. This is Nicki Minaj. This is like a rapper of some sort. All right. What are we doing? I would love to speak with you more in depth about what our administration is doing to protect Christians' freedoms from all over the world. This is like, what? Nani? Nicki Minaj responds, I'd be honored. Thank you, Ambassador. Absolutely diabolical. This isn't just a clash of the worlds. The Overton window is gone. We are the dominant culture right now, and I've never, ever seen this before. So, Pete Hegseth did something that I think is beautiful, in my opinion. And a lot of people are upset at this. Oh, I can't believe that everyone's talking about God now and stuff. Well, God's always been talking about us. Obviously we're talking about God. He's the main character.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Amen, King. So we are dropping, we are going so hard. We are so back. This is actual liberal nightmare. A, they don't care about Nigerian Christians because they're Christian, and therefore they don't care. No Jews, no news, as they say. That's one important fact. The other important fact is the fact that, well, we're so back. We're so back. We're so back. Like, we are so back. God is in our mouths. He's on our lips. He's back in society. Like, it's been a taboo for far too long. And I'm so happy that we've obliterated this Overton window. So, of course, your average retards are like, I have a genuine question. What did Donald Trump mean by guns a-blazing? The UK is not back? No, the UK is not back. If you pray near an abortion clinic, you go to jail in England. No, they're not back. So, but what did Trump mean by guns a-blazing? So this dude responds with this. The greatest response of all time. This is what you mean. Well, that gun was a-blazing. You make a good point, sir. You make a good point. Wow, that's pretty solid. So, of course, Nigeria decides to respond. Dude, what is happening? Nigeria stands firmly as a democracy governed by constitutional guarantees of religious liberty. Since 2023, our administration had maintained an open and active engagement with the Christian and Muslim leaders alike, and continues to address security challenges which affect citizens across faiths and regions. The characterization of Nigeria as religiously intolerant does not reflect our nation's reality, nor does it take into consideration the consistent and sincere efforts of the government to safeguard the freedom of religion and beliefs for all Nigerians. Religious freedom and tolerance had always been a core tenet of our collective identity, and shall always remain so. Nigeria opposes religious persecution and does not encourage it. Nigeria is a country with constitutional guarantees to protect citizens of all faiths. Our administration is committed to working with the United States government and international community to deepen understandings and cooperation on protection of communities of all faiths. They absolutely, totally cucked out. They're terrified of America. I'll be real, they're scared. I will be real, they're terrified of America. However, it's not enough, because this has to stop. All right, like, they're like, no, of course we're accepting to all faiths. We're just kind of turning a blind eye to the fact that there are Muslims massacring Christians. We're turning a blind eye to that, but of course, we love all faiths. We love faith. We're a democratic country. How dare you get involved? Bro, this is like what happened with Zohran Mamdani. What he literally said in an interview that when he was in Egypt, he watched a woman getting raped, but he didn't get involved to stop the rape because he was a foreigner and he didn't want to like intrude on the culture. Due to cultural relativism, he didn't want to stop the rape from happening. He literally admitted that, man. He literally admitted that, man. So, yeah, that's a real thing. I'm not making that up. That's a true thing. I've shown that in previous videos. So, anyway, so this dude drops the most cringe, honestly, kind of gay statement I have ever seen in my entire life. This is like the South Africa response. No, white people aren't being persecuted. What are you talking about? What do you mean? So here's a pro-Palestine activist going to Sudan to tell displaced refugee kids that people in Gaza suffers more than them. I'm not even joking. Watch this shit.
تعال هي في دولة اسمها فلسطين حلو يعني خليكم تتخيلوا كيف بدي لكم تخيلوا اني انتم عندكم هيدي الخيمة بيوم من الايام اجى حدا دق الباب وقال لكم بدي افوت اشرب عندكم شاي او ابرك شوي منيح بعد ما فات برك صار يعتبر اني هذا البيت بيته ويقول لكم هي او هيدي الخيمة خيمتي ويصير يطالعكم منها.
Oh my god.
وانتم بتقولوا طب احنا بس فوتناك حتى تفوت تشرب شيء وتطلع هي خيمة.
It's probably the least accurate story of the foundation of the state of Israel I've ever heard. But anyway, keep going.
خيمتنا بتصيروا شو بتعملوا انتم بتقولوا اطلع وبس لاني قلتوا له اطلع من الخيمة بيصير العالم كله بيحاربكم وهيك عم بيصير بفلسطين وهيك عم بيصير بغزة.
Yeah, except the few minor differences. The first minor difference is that actually Hamas started the war. Second minor difference is that they never invited Jews in super openly. None of this is accurate. It was English land. It was English empire. English, British mandate Palestine that they let the Jews there. This never happened. Then they declared war and lost. And then they declared war and lost. And then they declared war and lost again. In case you were curious about the actual history. But anyway, so this dude goes, he sees a bunch of starving Sudanese kids, and he's like, now let me tell you about what's happening in Gaza. And makes up some history. But it gets better.
حاليا محاصرة من الجميع ولا بيقدروا بياكلوا ولا بيقدروا بيشربوا. فدائما خليكم عم تدعوا لهم مو لاني هن كمان هنيك في اطفال صغار.
They're also cute children there just like you.
حلوين مثلكم كمان ما عم بيلاقوا الاكل كثير. فان شاء الله ربنا بيفرج عن غزة ويفرج عنكم هون كمان. واو. والكل بيرجع لبيته. واو. خليكم عم تدعوا لهم مو؟ يلا. باي. آمين يا رب. يلا سلامة.
Yeah, that's diabolical. Bro shows up to Sudan to see starving kids and be like, listen, I know you're starving, but I'll be real. There are kids in Gaza. They are starving a lot more. So we should like be we should be very sad. We should be very, very sad, especially for the kids in Gaza. This is diabolical, bro. These are starving children. Anyway, so this is a pretty interesting thing that showed up the other day. I really thought this was important. This is the senator for Alabama. And let's just say he said something unprecedented.
Another major difference between Islam and our Western culture is the way we treat women. In the U.S., marriage happens when a man and woman mutually decide that they want to get married and be with each other.
Wow, that's nice. Yeah.
But under Sharia law,
true,
older men are allowed to marry 6-year-old girls.
That's true.
Which is unbelievable.
That's pretty unbelievable.
6 years old.
That's pretty wild.
That's not marriage. In America, we call that pedophilia.
Oh! Whoa!
That's just scraping the...
You can't call out pedophilia. You cannot call out pedophilia because this is just cultural relativism. This is cultural relativism, man. All right? You can't call out pedophilia. That's Islamophobic.
Surface. In Sharia law, women are sold, raped, trafficked, no problem to them. That's their way of life. Women are not allowed to get an education or have a job.
Damn.
They aren't even allowed to leave home without a man escorting them. And women are forced to wear burqas, which cover basically everything but their eyes. Meanwhile, men are allowed to have multiple wives, marry children, and do not have to cover their heads.
So this dude shows up. I can't. The Overton window is shifting so much. I could not imagine this being in like the Congress or anything. So this is an actual Alabama senator. Like, this is becoming very widespread, and it's wild, dude. Anyway, and this is insane. I don't know what happened to Tucker Carlson, man. So Tucker Carlson goes on a show, his own show. Essentially just goes yapping and ranting about how Sharia law is actually a good thing. I don't even understand what happened to him. What happened to this guy?
But you should know, Seth, that the real danger is Sharia law. Sharia law. And you can tell when you go to a place like Abu Dhabi or Riyadh, like, oh man, I hope we don't ever wind up with a society like this with a rape rate of 0 where you leave your keys.
Well, it's because A, it's not considered rape in Riyadh or Abu Dhabi if it's A, not a married woman, B, if it's not penetration, and C, they marry children and they have slaves. I am just absolutely floored at how much this man has been glazing radical Islamist countries. What's going on, bro? Tucker Carlson out here. What happened to this man?
Your Lamborghini and don't ever worry about it being stolen. And, you know, if people want to get wasted, they do it at home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, under punishment of death. Okay? All right.
I don't.
Boy, I hope we don't wind up with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that, Sharia law is obviously just a punchline. I don't know.
Is it though?
But too many people actually believe in the reality of that. And sure.
What do you mean there are so many countries that operate under Sharia law. There are 56 Muslim majority countries. They literally constantly talk about how they want to introduce Sharia. They tried to make a Sharia law city in Texas. It didn't work. They're trying to institute this in areas of Michigan. They're trying to turn London into Sharia law. Like, this is literally the laws of the religion. I don't understand.
Like I said, I'm a lawyer. I actually studied legal philosophy. Right. Sharia is not that different from other legal codes.
True, but I don't support most legal codes where you could have sex with 6-year-olds. Personally, it's not like I don't even know what's happening. What's going on?
A lot of our own legal code, the Anglo-Saxon common law, Anglo-American common law,
right, derives
ultimately from religious authorities.
Yeah, but very different religious authorities, man. What are we doing? So anyway, I don't know, man. This is just, I saw this clip and I was losing my mind. I don't know how it infiltrated that badly that we have, supposedly intellectual titans talking about this. This is wild. It's absolutely diabolical. Holy schmorglets. Now, anyway, in Dearborn, Michigan, which is in the United States, for those of you keeping track, there was a violent, coordinated terrorist attack on Halloween. They ended up confirming that the suspects were Muslims. And this is, as you can see, FBI. Yeah. Dearborn, Michigan. Multiple homes raided. Giant Halloween terrorist attack. The attack has been confirmed to be Muslims tied to ISIS extremists. They had AK-47s, weapons, and firearm training. They were from Middle Eastern countries. The suspects are coordinating a violent attack involving firearms with references to Pumpkin Day, a code term for Halloween and online chat groups. Plot was tied to ISIS extremism. The suspects had access to AK-47s and other weapons, along with firearm training. Potential targets were high schools and stuff. Suggested a mass casualty event would possibly happen during celebrations. Thank God it was stopped. No one was hurt. But that's insane. Why is this happening in the United States, man? Why is this happening in the United States, bro? Go back to the sand countries, man. What are we doing? What are we doing? That's insanity, bro. Anyway, this is New York City. To recognize that we're here already. All right, New York City. All right, pay attention. All right, so everything seems nice and dandy. A classic day in New York. You got some shit on the floor, like a classic New York day. Nothing to see here. Nothing weird at all. Bit of tension going on. Bit of tension. Definitely nothing too odd. Nothing too weird if you're from the area. People of all different walks of life kind of chilling. Sort of. But something starts happening. Bro gets obliterated. Just fucking destroys that guy. Insane. Now, for those of you that want to know the lore, a Jewish tourist suffered a brain bleed after being attacked in Midtown Manhattan. Police say a man dressed in black knocked off his yarmulke, stomped on it, and then punched him in the face near the Kosher Deli on Broadway Street. He was hospitalized, facial injuries and internal bleeding. New York City, ladies and gentlemen. This just happened today, or yesterday or something. Yeah, this just happened 2 days ago. And this is not the first time. This is just like a random, visibly Jewish dude getting blasted. So Zohran Mamdani vows to shut down the Technion's New York campus over IDF ties. Now, the Technion is a very advanced university in Israel, and they are connected to Cornell University, which is one of the highest, one of the best universities in America, all right, in New York. So brilliant immigrants plus brilliant scientists plus technologists have come to New York City because of Cornell Tech, adding to the competitive ecosystem of Columbia plus NYU to create life-saving drugs and advanced cutting-edge tech for us all. And Zohran Mamdani literally wants to shut that down because it has ties to Israel. This is crazy, dude. This is insane. This is crazy. Like, what are we doing? Literally, what's going on? You're shutting down like a good school because it has ties to Israel? Oh my god. So this is classic Zohran Mamdani crying because of 9/11.
I want to use this moment to speak to the Muslims of New York City. I want to speak to the memory of my aunt.
His aunt.
Who stopped taking the subway after September 11th
Right.
because she did not feel safe in her hijab.
Anyway, they eventually figured out that his aunt lived in Tanzania at the time, not in New York, so this was not relevant at all, but obviously, his aunt was the biggest victim of 9/11. I've shown this clip in the past, so I made this tweet. You should definitely follow me on Twitter. Link in the description. So he made this tweet. There's a horrific massacre of Christians by radical Islamists in Sudan. Of course, the media and the college protesters are silent, but mostly I can't stop crying specifically for Zohran Mamdani's aunt, who was given dirty looks after 9/11 because of Islamophobia. I feel like it's important to come together and recognize how badly the Christian genocide in Nigeria would make Islamophobia. I personally think it's important to talk about this. It is. I mean, over 100,000 Christians were murdered in Nigeria, and think about what Zohran Mamdani's aunt is going through right now. It's truly a horrific scene. So Zohran Mamdani, let me show you the type of guy that's really here trying to steal our country from us. All right, so this is Zohran Mamdani. One of his old clips ended up going a little viral.
But if you want to pursue your promise to create the single largest deportation force in American history, or your promise to persecute and punish your political enemies, then you will have to get through me to do that here in New York City.
Right, so he's basically telling Trump, if you want to deport illegals, then you're going to have to fight with the mayor. I mean, I personally support deporting the mayor, but that's not the point. The point is, you're literally, like, this is going against the law. Like, you realize this is directly going against the law. There's no reason why we need to tolerate this. They are coming into our countries. They are laughing in our face, spitting at us, using our freedoms and our democracies against us to essentially subvert our country, break the laws, import a new voter class that are all poor, all on different government benefits that we are paying for. Like, dude, this is diabolical. So this is a new campaign ad from Zohran Mamdani. It's a little bit scary.
كعمدة رح جمت الإيجارات لأكثر من 2,000,000 شخص.
Arabic ads, baby. We know who he's talking to.
وخلي الباصات سريعة ومجانا. وأضمن رعاية الأطفال شاملة لكل العائلات. ويمكن ما فيني أقنعك إنه الكنافة النابلسية بستانواي أطيب من نيوجيرسي، بس بوعدكم إني رح أشتغل بكل جهدي لأسهل عليكم بفتح مشاريعكم الصغيرة وتدفعوا إيجاركم وتبنوا مستقبلكم في مدينة نيويورك. التصويت المبكر مفتوح الآن حتى 2 نوفمبر، ويوم الانتخابات يوم 4 نوفمبر. أنا منكم وإليكم.
Absolute insanity, bro. Insanity. Now, here's the thing. I don't have anything against the language Arabic, obviously, but I really feel like you should be speaking English if you're in America. Like, I really feel like in America, you should speak English. And if you can't speak English, I don't think you should vote. All right? It doesn't necessarily make a super inclusive culture where people could unify with their neighbors if they can't speak the same language. All right, if one guy speaks English and the other guy speaks Camel, it's not going to work. All right, I'm not trying to be controversial here. I just think that English is the national language. If you don't speak English, you shouldn't be able to vote. And you also shouldn't probably be running campaigns in other languages either. This is just insane. Now, Zohran, a jack of all trades. You've heard him speaking before, but have you ever heard of his speaking when he's talking to fellow Ugandans?
I'm from Uganda, but I also grew up in New York. In New York, you don't really, you go out, some guys are very hesitant to dance. If they're not grinding, they're just standing. In Kampala, you will just not find that.
He literally changes his accent depending on who he talks to. It's literally the most obvious scam of all time. This dude is literally coming here to subvert our country, and it's so obvious. So James O'Keefe caught an NGO instructing illegals on how to vote for Zohran Mamdani as mayor of New York. He also discovered an NGO registering illegals to vote. To recap, illegals are being registered to vote and told to vote for Zohran Mamdani.
Yes, I'm an immigrant. They sent me here to vote. I was recommended to come here to find information to vote. Sorry?
When did you register to vote?
I didn't sign anything. They just told me to come here to vote.
Okay. Vote to, okay, but
This is Michael Casey, correspondent with O'Keefe Media Group, reporting from New York City just before Halloween. And the only thing scarier than all the ghosts and the goblins and this rain this Halloween is a possibility of illegal aliens voting in our elections for mayor. Just last year, James O'Keefe encountered...
What a possibility. And that is literally where we're at, man. That's where we're at. There are giant instruction manuals on how illegals could scam the system and illegally vote. They are bringing people in, protecting them illegally, and stealing our country. Democratically. They are democratically stealing our country. It's insane. So this guy is another interesting character. A Muslim fellow from Somalia showed up with a foreign flag to speak for Minneapolis.
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Somalia. Hiran State. Mawisle. Early voting hadda illa November 4. I need your vote.
This dude goes out there, gives a whole Salam Alaikum Somalia cheering, waving a Somalian flag in his campaign to run for mayor. What? Somalia first, baby. We should have never allowed immigration from Somalia at all. It has not benefited the country in the slightest way. Now they're taking over once proud American cities, turning them into the same kind of failed, dysfunctional hellscape they fled. Now, a lot of people tell me, you're not allowed to say that some cultures are inferior to others. Because if you say that some cultures are inferior, that's racism. Well, the average IQ in Somalia is sub 70. I'm not like trying to be controversial. Okay, I'm really not trying to be controversial. This is just a fact. All right, this is literal statistics. And rape was only illegalized in Somalia less than 10 years ago. Rape was legal until 10 years ago. Less. So that's an inferior culture, man. Look at me. I am the captain now. Anyway, so this is crazy, bro. This is wild. So you get these people cheering.
We uplift one another. We are all here today uplifting one another because we believe in Somalia. We believe in unity. That's why we are here today.
Bro, this is Ohio. This is literally in Ohio.
So to that I say, make sure you are registered to vote. Make sure that you are engaged for the next few months. I will need a lot of volunteers to help me knock doors, to continue to collect signatures, and I will need all of you to reach out to your neighbors and to lift one another.
So, literally, unironically, we believe in Somalia. This is for Ohio. Noticing a lot of people prefer Somalia over the United States, but refuse to live there. Weird. People are beginning to notice that if it's so good there, and it's in fact better there, and you in fact like it better, and you think it's better, why are you here? Is it because A, it's not better, or B, it's a colonial project? So this is Ilhan Omar, a representative of Congress.
Masked, armed men who are in plain clothes that are snatching people off the streets.
Arresting them.
Unwilling to identify themselves.
Because they're threatening their lives.
The military being deployed in streets. My God, this is America. States' rights being disregarded. So
good, they suck. They should be disregarded.
A constitutional crisis that's being...
There's no crisis.
And the same week where we have a president who has deployed the military who are trained to kill our enemies. Americans, but our enemies are in our streets. Same week that we are going to have a military parade.
W?
Can you imagine that image that is going to be coming out?
Badassery.
Country. I mean, I grew up in a dictatorship, and I don't even remember ever witnessing anything like that.
She is saying that Somalia is better than America.
World to now be turned into one of the worst countries where the military are in our streets,
literally leave
without any regard for people's constitutional rights.
Oh, you don't have constitutional rights.
Spending millions of dollars propping himself up, like a failed dictator with a military.
He was elected.
It is really shocking, and it should be a wake-up call for all Americans to say this is not the country we were born in. This is not the country we believe in.
It's great.
This is not the country our founding fathers imagined.
They did. They literally
and
did.
This is not the country that is supported by our Constitution, our ideals, our values.
You're crazy.
And we should all collectively be out in the streets rejecting.
Fight against the police officers. That's an insurrection. No, so she's, in my opinion, should leave. She should leave. So, A, she commits, allegedly, marriage fraud, marrying her brother to get into America. And now we get this whole bullshit situation. Bro, you can't go out here and talking about the tyrannical dictatorship of Somalia, where rape was legal when you lived there, was better than the United States, where they're arresting terrorists, criminals, and rapists. What are you even talking about? This is insane. So like this is obvious insanity. I really think that we need to do something about this shit. Like, this is crazy. Now, let's talk about how bad America is. Ilhan Omar's net worth in 2020 was $65,000. 2021 was $65,000. 2022 was $115,000. 2023 was $205,000. 2024 she's worth $30 million. Explain to me how you made $30 million in 1 year, okay, lady? If America's so bad, huh? America's so bad, and you made $29.8 million in 1 year? Like, this is so. First of all, we need to get rid of insider trading. I don't think anyone that holds public office should be allowed to invest in the stock market, period. That's one. Two, you absolute degenerate. This is insane. You could buy Somalia for $30 million. This is crazy. So, this is a very interesting discussion. So, this is a discussion between very interesting figure, Dinesh D'Souza. He's a Republican guy, a Republican Christian guy. I think he used to be Hindu. He's an Indian fellow. And he interviewed this interesting Muslim fellow.
Extremist, Islamist, fundamentalist, I would only vote left. Why is that? I saw them as very stupid. I would fear the conservatives because they come with principle. That's not someone they can brainwash. But the left, I know they have no values and no principles to begin with. I dare you to find one Islamic extremist that votes for Donald Trump. Never do it. They'd give their vote to the leftist who wants to run around in pride parades. And Islamic extremists are against gays and homosexuals and transgenders, but they want the left to go and get busy with that. They want them, go speak about the climate, go speak about abortion, go kill yourselves, go do that. And she's fighting for abortion rights and all the other, my body, my choice. Yes, go do that. But would she have an abortion? Never. Never. Would she kill a Muslim in her stomach? Never.
What is the fundamentalist and jihadi agenda for America?
The future of America has to be Muslim. Extreme.
Like, bro just literally lays it out. Bro in his onion hat just straight up explains it. And it's so obvious to people paying attention. Oh my god. Oh my god. That's crazy, bro. That's absolute insanity. So, this is a guy in the UK. And again, I told you the UK was falling off.
Jizya is taken from the non-Muslims. We take the jizya from the non-Muslims, the combatants, the enemies of Allah and His Rasul. So
jizya means like an extra secret tax that the Muslims want to tax all non-Muslims.
Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, in exchange, and when we say like tax, it's not like a council tax or road tax that you're paying. You understand? And I'll get to that point as well. Is we're taking in exchange for your blood, for your life. Do you understand? We're taking it in exchange for your blood, for your life. This is mentioned by the commentators of the Quran as well. The Mufassirin, they've explained, the Fuqaha have gone into detail. And why are we taking this? Is because you are a rebellion. You are rebellious against Allah and His Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And because we have mercy, Islam has mercy, we're saying you pay the jizya. And again, we don't want to get into the discussion of how much and how much is stipulated, and the Fuqaha have explained this, but when you give the jizya to,
they have so much mercy, if you give them taxes, they won't kill you.
Time, then what we are guaranteeing you is a protection for yourself, for your property, for your family, for your children, and also we will fight off offenders.
You just give them taxes and they give you protection from themselves.
2024, last year, there was an article in The Guardian that said that just in the year 2024, Islamophobia, the rise of attacks against the Muslims in just that 1 year, rose to approximately 73%. You understand? You pay road tax, you pay council tax, you pay this tax, bin tax, all these taxes.
Literally talking about how you need to pay them for them not to kill you, and then in the same sentence, he says Islamophobia is rising. Let me remind you, there were just 2 Jews murdered by Muslims literally a few weeks ago in England. Like, what are we talking about? In fact, we don't even need to go back 2 weeks ago. We could go back to today. There was a random stabbing of 10 people in a train today.
10 people were taken to hospital by ambulance, and another person self-presented later that evening. While 9 were initially believed to have life-threatening injuries, following assessment and treatment, 4, thankful to say, have been discharged.
Thank God.
However, 2 patients remain in a life-threatening condition.
Horrible.
British Transport Police declared a major incident yesterday.
So this sounds like a terrorist attack. I wonder how it's going to be quantified by the British police. 2 guys working together, pulling out knives on a train and stabbing 10 people. Sounds like a terrorist attack, right? Anyway, let's see how it's described.
And counter-terrorism policing were initially supporting our investigation. However, at this stage, there is nothing to suggest that this is a terrorist incident.
There is zero evidence of terrorism that the 2 guys that got together with knives on a train and stabbed 10 people was a terrorist attack. There is no way to believe that that is the case. It's probably a mental health crisis.
This is a British Transport Police investigation, and we continue to work to establish at pace the full circumstances and the motivations that have led to this incident.
Yep, it is a mystery. It is a mystery. Tommy Robinson says police are not treating the random stabbing of 10 people on a train as terrorism related. It must be another case of random mental illness. And then you look at the stats and it's like, wow, there's not terrorism in England. Everything's just categorized as mental illnesses. I mean, hey, this is also in England. This happened 2 days ago. Check this one out. These are just two women sitting at a train station. Dude approaches them and starts stroking their faces.
What? I want to show you from over there. I like your hair still. You got some nice hair. It's nice and luscious.
Are you okay?
I'm perfectly fine.
Bro.
We're gonna die. Huh? Why are you just smiling at me?
Oh.
I asked him a question, a serious question. Do you wanna die?
No.
Why?
Is it why? Because
Sure.
you're still touching him.
Why?
Because.
You gonna die? You sure?
Yeah.
I saw you from over there. You're just looking like you wanted to die.
When did we look at you?
Well, you was looking at me this whole time. You gonna die? Nah, bro. Bro. You gonna die, bro. Bro, don't even answer that right now. This is serious, bro. You trying to answer the phone? Who's calling you? They can wait. They can wait, bro. Gonna die, bro. Cause I can take it out right now, bro.
What's wrong?
Huh?
What's wrong?
I can take it out right now. Do you want to die? Yes or no? Huh?
Anyway, this is insane. Telling you're going to die, you're going to die. This is crazy. This is insane. And in case you were curious, that stabbing attack on the train, someone in my chat just told me, there was another one. Kent police arrest knife-wielding man in Faversham after threats, hours after train stabbing in Huntington. Now again, we have no idea if this was a terrorist attack, but this was a second one. Oh my god. A second attempted stabbing today. Kent police arrest 25-year-old man on Friday around 8:30 p.m. after he threatened residents with knives, recovering 2 weapons, charging him with threats to kill. No injuries occurred. Obviously, oh my god, you have to see this. This is crazy. Injuring isolated incident unrelated to terrorism, right? Unrelated to terrorism. Another attempted stabbing by an Allahu Akbar. And of course, they delete the posts. ISIS calls for the slaughter of Christians and Jews in UK attacks. Shoot, stab, and ram. We don't need to live like this, okay? I mean, look, I feel as bad for Zohran Mamdani's aunt as the next guy, but this is crazy. This is insane. We don't have to live like this. All right, so here you got an Indian guy who's getting attacked by Pakistanis.
Police, call police.
In England, obviously.
No, I'll record him. How dare you to come to someone's shop? Relax. Go look at bastard Pakistani. Figure. Bastard. Relax. Figure Pakistani.
Bro, it's civil war on those streets, man. It'd be civil war out there. This is Canada. Hamas supporters stood outside of Indigo Bookstore in Ontario, Canada. Do you know why? Because Indigo Bookstore is owned by Jews. That's it. That's all the reason. Like, I get that you have the right to protest and stuff or whatever, but like, this is crazy. It's crazy, and Canada's never going to do anything about it because it's a completely and utterly cucked nation. It really is. It's diabolical. Now, I wanted to show you this because I think this is super powerful. This is Nigerian Christians. As you can see, this is a church. This is a church that is burnt to the ground. Like, only the walls actually are still standing. It's completely burnt to the ground. Utterly destroyed. Sitting there praying where the church used to be. It's brutal. It's absolutely brutal. So this guy made a video doing a deep dive, a little mini deep dive here on the brutal massacre in Sudan. I wanted to look at it because I think it's important it's important to be discussed. It really is. And I'll be real. I'm really glad that we have a president in the White House that's actually not just rolling over and letting this happen. It's diabolical. It really is. It's a horrible, horrible situation, and I'm really glad that people are doing something about it. Look, I am as America first as the rest of you, but I do think that That doesn't mean you shouldn't be fucking obliterating bad guys across the globe, too.
There's a brutal massacre playing out right now in Sudan where hundreds of civilians were murdered in a hospital earlier this week, and that's just part of it.
Oh
We're seeing videos and hearing reports from eyewitnesses on the ground that the RSF, or Rapid Support Forces, are going house to house,
Dude.
killing every man, woman, and child. In fact, the violence is so extreme that the blood-stained earth can be seen in satellite imagery. Now, this is a developing situation with a lot of unknowns on the ground, so let's dive into what we know so far about this recent uptick in violence in the ongoing Sudanese civil war. Now, a couple days ago, October 26th through the 28th, the RSF, or Rapid Support Forces, more on them here in a minute, captured El Fasher, the last major Sudanese armed forces held city in North Darfur. The SAF withdrew from key positions, allowing the RSF forces to enter the city, marking a potential turning point in the war. El Fasher was a humanitarian hub, sheltering as many as 260,000 people, and that is the area right now that the RSF is continuing to rampage through.
How is this not like... I'm sorry. How is this not publicly discussed? Like, why is it that when I turn on a Sandpiker stream right now, he's talking about Palestine and not this? Like, dude, the Palestine scam has got to be the biggest scam of all time. It's got to be the biggest scam of all time. That is the only thing that matters. All right. It doesn't matter to them when Muslims are killing Muslims. It doesn't matter to them when Muslims are killing Christians. None of that matters. It doesn't matter to them when Muslims are killing Jews.
Now, in recent days, we've seen countless videos published by the RSF showing their elements methodically moving house to house, clearing them, killing them, of every man, woman, and child. Now, as a little background here from the BBC, they say Sudan plunged into a civil war in April 2023 after a vicious struggle for power broke out between its army and a powerful paramilitary group, or the RSF, the Rapid Support Forces. More than 150,000 people have died in the conflict across the country, and about 12 million people have fled their homes in what the United Nations has called the world's largest humanitarian crisis. Now, a little information on the SAF versus the RSF, the two major belligerents in this conflict. There are some smaller armed groups as well. SAF stands for Sudanese Armed Forces. This is the official military of Sudan, and they're working to preserve centralized control over the country. They are backed to various degrees by Egypt, Turkey, Iran, and Saudi Arabia.
Well, color me surprised and shocked.
RSF, or Rapid Support Forces, is a paramilitary organization backed also to varying degrees by the UAE, as well as remnants of the Russian Wagner Group. Now, the core argument here back in 2023 had to do with integration of the RSF into the larger SAF. SAF wanted that integration to take place inside of 2 years, and for the Rapid Support Forces, their leadership structure would remain junior, so it would be a subordinate element to SAF. RSF wanted integration after 10 years while maintaining their own chain of command, their own business interests, and they wanted their chain of command to be equal to that of the SAF. That was not resolved despite some attempts at negotiations, and the fighting has raged ever since. The most notable uptick recently was a hospital killing just a few days ago in North Darfur, according to the Associated.
It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. It's an actual nightmare. Between the Christian genocide in Nigeria and the this brutal massacre going on in Sudan, like it's fucking it's abysmal. It's a nightmare. It's an actual nightmare. No one even feels the need to mention this. Oh my lord.
Press. Sudan's paramilitary forces killed hundreds of people at a hospital, including patients, after they seized the provincial capital of North.
Like, it's crazy. Hamas, like, you have to understand the double standard that the UN is pushing, all right, that the world is pushing. Hamas literally is a terrorist organization that fires rockets from hospitals. They literally fire rockets from hospitals at people, okay? So they're sitting there in hospitals firing rockets at Israeli cities. Israeli military retaliates, strikes the missile system, which is in a hospital, and it's considered a war crime by the UN. The UN gets a resolution. They end up, they say it's a terrible war crime. Obviously, how dare this happen? And it's like, and here you have just guys rolling in, and it becomes a national story. It's every newspaper, it's every outlet, it's every college protest, it's everything, it's everywhere. They're chanting in the streets, okay? Here, you have a massacre of hundreds of thousands of people just rolling into hospitals, just killing every single man, woman, and child in the hospital and moving out. Like, to the point that the ground is soaked red and that you can see it in satellite images. No one cares. No one cares. 49% of the UN is Muslim majority. Like we know, sort of. But this is diabolical, and this isn't even like a discussion. It just goes to show how easy it is to get manipulated by the media. I think America needs to leave the UN immediately. But also, you know what this means? You know this just means more refugees for Europe. Like, it's such an absolute nightmare. Like, you realize Islam only, like, the radical parts of Islam, the ones that want to conquer the world, they only win when this happens. They only win. They wipe out any minority that they don't like, simultaneously fuck up the region to the point that Europe that Europe suicidally empathetic enough to import millions of refugees.
North Darfur over the weekend. The 460 patients and their companions were reportedly killed Tuesday at the Saudi hospital by fighters from the Rapid Support Forces in the city of Al Fashir. The director, this is according to the Director General of the World Health Organization. They say as a part of the assault, RSF...
Yeah, and someone on my chat mentioned something correct. And for some reason, there are 56 Muslim majority countries. Why aren't any of the refugees going there? Why? I mean, just look at Gaza. Like, this is the first time in all of history that the refugees weren't allowed anywhere because they don't want them. Like, a lot of you probably don't know the history, but Palestinians were led into Egypt. They caused terrorist attacks, and Egypt flooded the tunnels with with gas, and literally gassed them and killed them in tunnels. Jordan let in Palestinians. They started a civil war. Lebanon let in Palestinians. They started a civil war and a coup. They tried to assassinate the royalty. Like, and they're like, all right, well, in that case, never mind. If Europe wants to take you, that's fine, but you're not coming into any of our countries. And Europe decides, well, I guess we have no choice.
Fighters went from house to house, beating and shooting at people, including women and children. Many died of gunshot wounds in the streets, while others were killed as they tried to flee to safety. Now, in a report late on Tuesday, the Yale School of Public Health's Humanitarian Research Lab put out some interesting imagery that I'm going to run through here, documenting some of these mass killings. And it says something, the scope of the violence, when the mass killings can be documented from satellites in space. And that's what we have here. Again, this source is the Yale Humanitarian Research Lab. I will link their full report in the description below. First image here, they say, was collected on October 27th. The presence of clusters of light and dark colored objects consistent with the size of human bodies. Reddish ground discoloration in vehicles are also visible.
That's crazy.
These observations are not seen in prior satellite imagery.
Dude, I can't, man.
Second picture here, they note 2 reddish ground discolorations that are visible and not seen in prior imagery. Multiple vehicles present in the same area, which appears consistent with the door-to-door clearance operations. We should note, again, by most accounts, the SAF, the militant group, not militant group, but the actual Sudanese military, left the area.
Bro.
So these house-to-house clearance operations appear to be exclusively focused on civilians. Third picture here, they say the presence of 2 clusters of light and dark colored objects consistent with the size of human bodies, as well as reddish ground discoloration and vehicles also visible. Picture 4 here. Imagery shows the presence of clusters of objects, ground discoloration, and light tactical vehicles. The objects within these clusters measure between 1.5 and 2 meters in length. A group of light technical vehicles appear to be blocking the road near what appears to be a red discoloration on the ground. One cluster of objects is flanked by 3 light technical vehicles. And image 5 here Imagery shows the presence of clusters of objects along the defensive berm. These objects are not visible on imagery collected on 26 October, and the appearance of these objects coincides with the reports that civilians were shot attempting to flee Al-Fashir over the berm. In fact, a quick note on that berm, according to CNN, they quote Nathaniel Raymond, the executive director of the research lab, saying, quote, "The rapid support forces have surrounded this city in an earth wall called a berm that's as high as 9 feet. So the context here is that these people inside are what we call
they actually caged these people in. They sieged them in. This is sickening. This is happening in real. This happened over the last 2 weeks. This is happening in real time. In real time, man.
Box. They have been walled in to be killed systematically. And
I'm sorry, if don't stop watching this video, it might make you Islamophobic.
Right now, the rapid support forces are doing just that. In fact, we are starting to see a number of international organizations speak out against this and notify the world.
Dude, this is honestly like, I see this and the first thing I think about is Zohran Mamdani's aunt. How will she ever ride the subway now? This is truly a heartbreaking moment. Truly a heartbreaking moment specifically for Zohran Mamdani's aunt. I don't know. The dirty looks she's gonna get. Well, no one knows what's happening in Sudan. No one cares. No one cares, to be honest.
That this is happening. We have this video published just a couple days ago from the United Nations Human Rights Office.
We are receiving multiple alarming reports from Sudan that the rapid support forces are carrying out atrocities, including summary executions, after seizing control of large parts of the besieged city of Al-Fashir in North Darfur and of Bara city in North Kordofan state. It is an extremely precarious situation, and the risk of further large-scale, ethnically motivated violations...
Ethnically motivated is a really nice way to say massacring minorities. It's a really nice way to say it. Ethnically motivated. I like that.
...atrocities is mounting by the day. Concrete action is urgently needed to ensure the protection of civilians in Al-Fashir and safe passage for those...
It's crazy how they're not like saying it's war crimes, call in the International Criminal Court and fuck these guys. It's crazy that this isn't like their first thought. Like, it's mind-blowing. Like, these guys condemn America all the time. Like, they condemn America at the toss of a dime. They refuse to say that there's a genocide happening when they're wiping out minorities.
Trying to reach relative safety. We remind the RSF commanders of their obligations under international humanitarian law to ensure the protection of civilians and to ensure the passage of essential supplies.
Protection from who?
And humanitarian assistance.
Now, turning back to that CNN report, they say reports of RSF fighters committing large-scale massacres began to emerge within hours of the Sudanese military's withdrawal from Al-Fashir earlier this week.
Remember, this is less than a week ago.
These accounts have been corroborated by mounting evidence that includes videos and photos from the ground, survivor testimonies, and, as we saw just a moment ago, satellite imagery. Now, they do have some pushback here from the RSF. They say RSF Chief Mohammed Dagalo, known as Hemedi, acknowledged Wednesday that there had been violations, and he said an investigative committee would be launched to
Look how happy these guys are after rolling in and massacring an entire town.
Investigate and hold accountable any soldier or officer who committed a crime. In a separate statement, the RSF denied claims of killings at the hospital, describing them as fabricated narratives with no connection to reality, despite, of course, what we have seen, mounting evidence of atrocities.
There's mountains of bodies. There's footage, but they're like, nope, no evidence. And you know what? They believe them. Bro, do you understand how insane this is? UN, when Israel is like, yo, Hamas is stealing aid from the Palestinians. No, we don't believe you. You're starving them. It's a starvation. You're starving the people. Anyway, now there's footage of Hamas stealing aid from the people. There was never a starvation. Hamas, when, the UN, when these guys roll in and obliterate an entire group of people in a hospital, and they deny it. Well, they deny it. I guess it's just he said, she said. We have evidence, and they disagree.
And a quick note on the further delineation.
They investigated themselves and found no wrongdoing. They hired Mr. Beast's lawyer.
Between the SAF and RSF. The SAF has been accused in multiple occasions of targeting civilians or being indiscriminate in their shellings of RSF-controlled areas. But when we're looking at some of the...
Indiscriminate in their shellings. Bro, the walls look like pasta strainers. The walls look like pasta strainers.
He said an investigative committee would be...
Look at this. Bro, this is... I can't even describe more indiscriminate than this. Look at this.
Those tend to come at the hands of the RSF, and there's not really a close second there. CNN says multiple videos shared online over the past 3 days show RSF fighters rounding up and killing large numbers of unarmed people. Oh my God. CNN was able to match the insignia.
Hey, that's a war crime. Hello, UN, war crime. Don't we care about that? The answer is no, not unless it's a Western-backed nation. Not unless it's Israel or America. They don't care.
Worn by the fighters in several of the videos to the one used by the RSF. They say most of the videos appear to have been filmed and shared by the rebels themselves. Other videos show armed RSF fighters driving through large swaths of land, apparently hunting civilians who are attempting to flee. In one video, the rebels are heard saying, quote, "Catch the girls." And that's another mark of this conflict that we've seen for a few years now, is without a doubt large-scale, widespread, indiscriminate killing of civilians, men, women, and children, and the capturing and raping of women, young women, girls, is probably a better way to put it. By
Children. They're terrorist pedophiles. Say it the way it is.
RSF. So no doubt, as these atrocities are ongoing and the cold-blooded killings are happening throughout Al-Fashir, we have to recognize as well that there likely are a large number of young, very young women being captured by the RSF and raped day in and day out. That's the situation on the ground in Sudan right now. We are starting to see more and more countries speak out, become more vocal about this ongoing conflict.
Nice.
Not a lot in terms of actions being taken, at least not at this point. In terms of United States reactions or response, I've not really seen anything at all, or even a mention. I could have missed that.
Of course not, because if you mention it, you have to deal with it. I'm glad Trump mentioned Nigeria, but like it's unbelievable. My guess is Trump is gonna get there. He does try his absolute best. He tries his best to get around and stopping as many of these wars as he can. But realistically, there's like dead silence in the media.
We'll probably hear some condemnations. Is what I would expect here in coming days. But either way, pretty significant atrocities playing out right now in Sudan. We'll do our absolute best to keep you updated as more.
Hell yeah. I'll link this in the description. Obviously, did a good job. But the point that I'm trying to make is there is a genocide of Christians in Nigeria right now, and I'm really glad Trump has actually taken notice and is actually talking about it finally. It's heartbreaking, and I'm really glad he's actually talking about it. He might go guns a-blazing. You never know. Nicki Minaj gets involved. You get the importation of billions of people into our countries to outvote us. Elon Musk straight up cooking with gas about the Democrat scam of, promising illegals money to overwhelm us. And of course, obviously, please pray for these people. Pray for these poor innocent people across the world that are suffering and dying at the hands of savages. Ultimately, these are people that are fighting for God, and the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table for me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. May God protect the innocent, and may we live to see justice in our lifetime. Like, subscribe, and this video was streamed live on kick.com/Nuxanor. See you there. Stay weird, man.